Live from downtown State College.
Welcome into the Landon Tangwell live post-game Monday night call-in show. We are here downtown, a beautiful, brisk fall, almost wintry. We had the first snow droplets today. It was actually basically hail. So welcome to State College weather. The wind just gets trapped and you're just getting blown around. But we are here, downtown State College Studio Center, having a good old time. Nick, what is up, my man? Oh, I didn't bring my glasses tonight. That was a huge mistake. You guys are going to catch me squinting at the TV like this, like pretty much the entire time because I'm going to try to read the chat, but I'm going to try. Garrett says, Chesney, referring to Bob Chesney, JMU's head coach. Oh, boy, we're talking some head coach search. Producer John, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing all right. It feels like we're having to invent things to talk about now with Penn State football.
It does. This is rough, man. I don't think anybody, like we were sitting there at the beginning of the season with producer John, and we're talking about all the great things we're going to do, and I'm like, it's going to be so fun, and now I'm sitting here.
How young and naive we were.
We were. It was just such a young season, and, it was something. Walking Catastrophe says, would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the locker room at halftime when Terry must have gone off on Andy Kotelnicki. Yeah, I can't imagine. Terry Smith last week in his Monday presser promised that we were going to throw the ball down the field, and we still did not really do it in the first half. I think we did it once. And we came out, and it was clear. It was like, you better damn well throw the ball down the field. So Grunk, first play, like it wasn't even there the first play at a half, and he just tossed it down the field. Like he did not care. So I thought that was fantastic. I was very happy with that. And you saw it's successful. When you actually pass the ball down the field, good things happen. It's amazing. We got a caller. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
No. And it was clear. It was like, hello?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good.
What's your question, my man?
Okay. I have a question and a comment at the end. I actually did an AI search on the role of a GM in college football. And if you have somebody like Brian Hartline versus I'll say Matt Rule, for example. One really needs a GM, and the other one doesn't necessarily need the GM. So who's out there to be GMs? And it actually said that GMs may even have more power than the head coach. Are they like the closer in the when you go to buy a car? After you recruit the guy, they go finalize the deal. And the comment I wanted to make is I want Landon to ask Kevin Horn, does Adam DeLuca still stink? Because I think not. Thank you.
That was fantastic. And anybody that's an obligatory watcher, Dom DeLuca, obviously one of my very good friends, my roommate, and Kevin Horn, as always, is going in on players. And we were filming at the basement of Happy Valley Live. And Kevin Horn doing his normal crap talking, and Riley Thompson and Dom DeLuca walked into the basement because they were getting shown around, and I've never seen Kevin Horn so afraid in his life, and it was just amazing because he talks so much trash, and I just want to see him get stuffed in a locker. Kevin Horn is someone that you hate and you kind of love, I guess. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Kevin, he's an interesting feller. Your question, the GM situation. I think everybody at this point needs a GM because it's too much to manage. You saw James Franklin, as much as he was the GM, he was everything, and it started to get messy. And there was a bunch of different reasons for that. When you have transfers and recruits coming in, and you have James Franklin, the head coach, giving the presentations of here's how much money you're going to make, and you have the money talks with the head coach, that becomes an issue. And there's a reason why in the NFL the head coaches don't talk a single ounce of money with the players. That is all on the GM because you want to keep football and keep money over here with the GM. So I think that's why it's important to make sure you have a GM. Now, as far as different guys not needing them, like I said, I think it's a necessity. I don't think it's going to be like the NFL where I think head coach at a college football program is still going to be king of all. I don't think a GM is going to be over top of them like it is. Like GMs, obviously Brian DeBole for New York Giants got fired today by showing. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think a GM in college football can be like, oh, we're getting rid of the head coach. I think the head coach is going to kind of pick the GM. So I think looking at it, honestly, I think that the next head coach that we pick is going to be the guy that's going to talk with Pat Kraft. And that would be probably one of the first conversations. Pat Kraft's going to say, hey, who's on your short list of GMs? Who's on mine? Let's compare list. Is there anybody that's overlapping? If there is, let's talk to him. Like that's what I foresee happening with this GM position, but it's not going to be someone that oversees the head coach. They're just going to work together and handle all that money stuff, because you need someone that has actually done that money stuff and handled that, because that's what Penn State didn't have, and it was causing some real issues. Guys don't know how to if you've never allocated money to certain things and negotiated, then it probably isn't a good time to start doing that with the Penn State football program that is just a massive business. So you got to bring in a GM there. Nick says Brian DeBoll as the offensive coordinator. Actually, I would welcome that. He's a damn good offensive coordinator. I'm in for that. And Nick earlier also said we're bringing back Chili's to State College. Nick, we're going to do that together. I'm in for that one. We got a caller. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Dylan from South Georgia.
What's up, Dylan? What's your question?
I just kind of make a statement there. I like hearing that from Terry about as to what happened with the passing game as far as them just calling the plays. I know he was being respectful, but he had a little fire to him in the background. It was good to see.
I'm with you. I think it was clear he's not very happy with Kotonicki. Let me just say, I feel horrific for Drew Allar that he had an offensive coordinator that it was clear, like we're pulling, like I just imagine like Terry Smith has pliers like on Andy Kotonicki's tooth, and he's like putting his foot up trying to like yank out a tooth. That's him trying to get Kotonicki to just call one play that stretches the ball down the field. Like that's what it takes to get Kotonicki to do that. I don't understand. Not many things get me, and I said this on Sunday in the postgame show, irrationally angry. But just Kotonicki's ineptness. I don't even know if that's a word, ineptness, but just his just.
It is indeed.
Oh, thank you. Good job. Thanks, producer John. I appreciate that.
Is it ineptitude?
Ineptitude. That might be it. I don't know. Let us know in the chat. But his just refusal to pass the football down the field. And finally, we do it in the second half. It took us 8.5 games to figure out if you pass the ball down the field, that opens up the run game. So I also feel bad for Nick Singleton because he's running into a 7-man box constantly. And so finally he gets to start to get going. And passing the ball underneath, some of the screen passes, all that stuff, guess what? Starts to work a little bit because the DBs and the safeties, they got to back up a little bit because you're actually throwing the football down the field. So that's how I'm feeling. NST October said, Landon, let's talk about your video. Allar coming back, getting another year with Heartline's offense. That gets you excited, no? It does. So I mentioned, if you didn't see my press conference video, and I'm going to do some videos on this, I mentioned the possibility that Drew Allar could apply for a medical year because so many guys are getting granted extra years. I mean, it's just being given out at this point. And I think Drew Allar would have a real case. He played 3 games. Then it was Oregon, UCLA, and Northwest. So he played, I guess that was his 6th game. He played like 5.5 games as the fourth quarter. But you have that. But the real thing you're saying to the NCAA is you're saying, hey, I didn't play in any real meaningful games my freshman year. Let me come back. I think you can see my circumstances. I think I deserve one more year. Just submit Andy Kotonicki's play calling, and the NCAA should say, yes, you get another year because you were wronged because your coach was trying to sabotage you. That's all you need to say if you're Drew Allar. But I'm just putting that out there. I think that's a real possibility. I've thought it from the beginning. I wanted to give him some time before I started to bring that up. But I think that's a real possibility that we could see that. And I know everybody's going to instantly say, no. Like, Drew Allar was the number 1 quarterback in the nation for a reason. Drew Allar had his best football game in his collegiate career in his first ever start for a reason. He was sabotaged by his offensive coordinator. And I was going to put it out. It's a long story. There was a bunch of copyright. Basically, the Big Ten is trying to crack down on the all-22 footage. That's why I promised you guys a video of Drew Allar's first start. I did a film breakdown. It's waiting. It's ready to go. Probably going to put it out next week, I think, of Drew Allar's game against West Virginia in 2023. And it is unlike – and so I never watched that game, guys, because that was when I retired. And so I retired in fall camp, so I didn't watch the first 4 games. And a little while, it was a couple weeks ago, my producer was like, hey, you should check out the footage from Drew Allar in 2023, his first ever start. And I watched it, and I had seen highlights. I'd seen the deep pass to Keandre Lambert-Smith, and so I'd seen some things. But watching that game all the way through, dude, the risk that he would take, the way that he had pressure in his face and he's just slinging it, every single quick pass out to the wide receivers. You guys are going to see this. I'm going to release this video, like I said, next week. Every single quick pass was hitting guys in the face mask. Like there was no low passes. That's why I've said I believe in Drew Allar. I just think he had a offensive coordinator that was doing him absolutely zero favors, and like I said, even taking him the other direction and borderline sabotaging. I'm not saying purposefully, but the outcome of what we were getting of not passing the football down the field and all of that, not good. We got a caller.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator.
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Palmyra, Pennsylvania.
My man, what is your question?
Appreciate you taking my call, Landon. Just got a quick one for you. I was wondering if you think Penn State's ability to close in these quote-unquote big games, do you think that's primarily due to the types of players that Franklin recruited? Do you think this team is just cursed?
I know it does feel like we're kind of just cursed at this point, right? I think you adopt kind of your head coach, your leader's mindset, which is James Franklin. And I think overall we saw James Franklin was just extremely conservative. And it felt like it even leaked into this Indiana game of just kind of Terry Smith and everybody and that final drive where we could just kind of run down the clock if we got 2 first downs, and we went just very conservative play calling. And that's what I feel like it is. That's what I feel like it's always been. I think, yes, there's times, games that you can look at where the other team just made more plays because they did have better players. That is a real thing. Penn State, around the 13th, 14th ranked recruiting class. Ohio State is generally like top 5. They've been number 3 since 2020 if you average all the years together. So that is a real thing. They just do get better players. But I really feel like the conservativeness, I playing not to lose instead of playing to win. I think that is a real thing, and I think that's something you can physically feel off of your leader, which was James Franklin, and I think it's fair to say that's what he did. I mean, we have enough of a sample size to see that we feel like that is the truth, that he was playing not to lose instead of playing to win, and it's always been that way, and that's what I want in our next head coach. I want someone that when you get the ball back and you need 1 first down and it's 1st and 10, we're not running the ball up the middle 3 times. We're going to pass the ball 3 times, and we're going to be damn sure to get that. And if you know what, if it's 4th and 1 after those 3 passes, we're gonna go for it. Like that might be a little extreme, but that's what I want. Like I just want someone that's going to go for the jugular, and so that's what I feel like we've been missing, and also someone that knows how to manage the clock. Look, I love Terry Smith to death. Oh my gosh, his press conference talking about his daughter Haley, it was really sweet today. But once again, his clock management too. That timeout with 20 seconds left. I'm sorry that you get a first down, the clock stops until you get up to the ball. You spike it. There's going to be 1 second that comes off that clock. Please don't call a timeout there. Like the next guy that we pick up, for the love of God, take some clock management courses because it's not that hard. I promise you. Like I know there's a lot going on for a head coach, but really that's the main thing you need to worry about in a game, especially one towards the end of the 4th quarter or the end of the second half. All you have to worry about is the clock. You're not calling plays. You're not doing anything else. You just need to worry about the clock management. It's not that difficult, I promise you. So I would love to see all of that in the next one. What do we got? Oh, we got a caller. Thanks, Producer John. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. Owen calling from State College, PA. I'm just wondering if Allar can't come back. Do you think Grunkemeyer has enough potential, or do we need to bring like a transfer? And what development do you recommend he does?
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm looking at these last 3 games. These last 3 games for Grunk. If we actually do continue to throw the football down the field and he looks good, I think that gives a lot of incentive to the next head coach to be like, I think I want to give this guy a shot. Like I think Grunk has a lot of talent. Any quarterback. I don't care if you take Julian Sayin and put him in Andy Kotelnicki's offense or Fernando Mendoza and put him in Kotelnicki's offense, they're going to struggle. If you're having a quarterback operate an offense that is only throwing the ball at maximum 8 yards down the field, you can't run the football well, so that takes that away. You're not stretching. Like there's nothing to do. Like I don't blame Drew Allar or Ethan Grunkemeyer for what has went on in this offense. So I would like to see just a full game plan opened up where Grunk can throw the ball deep. There's threats everywhere. You got Kobe Howard, all of that. And let's just go out there and let them play. Because if Grunk goes these last couple games and he gives me a 250, 3-touchdown game, that type of thing, maybe once or twice, I'm feeling pretty good. And I'm the next head coach. I got to take a look at that. Now, it does depend if you bring in someone that has a quarterback. If you bring in an Eli Drinkwitz, you kind of have to assume that Bo Prabula is coming, or even Matt Zollers is coming with him. So there's a couple of those instances. If you look around, you're probably going to have those. But I would welcome these last. So I think that's something to look out for. If nothing else, that's what these last 3 games represent for Ethan Grunkemeyer is kind of an audition for this next head coach. And hopefully Kotelnicki does not sabotage too toughly. I don't only go after people, but as I've said, Andy Kotelnicki has made me irrationally angry with his play calling. It just does not make sense. And I am at the point, I'm never going to accuse anybody of anything that I do not have proof of, but it really does feel like he wants us to not be successful in offense. I know. It's just, there's no explanation for it. Like, there's really not. Like, clearly it took a halftime talking to for Kotelnicki to want to throw the ball down the field. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah,
You've heard the saying, where there's smoke, there's Kotelnicki.
You're right about that one, John. That's a really good point. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Someone in the chat said Franklin was closer to Paterno than most people think.
Ooh.
Here's what I'll say. Yes and no. Yeah, that's a good point. Someone said Franklin and Paterno both played not to lose quite often. I never actually really watch. Obviously, I never watch live Paterno games, but I watching and hearing and talking to people, that is kind of similar. Yeah, a little bit. I don't disagree with that. Obviously, very different times, but the person themselves very different. But yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Some people are going to be very against that one in the comment section.
Man, I have thoughts on it myself.
Yeah, you disagreeing with that one, John?
I think Joe Paterno was a revolutionary coach.
Oh yeah.
And yes, I see what people are saying. Make sure we don't have a caller here. I don't want to interrupt a caller, but
okay.
He was the master of breaking football down to the closest you can to an equation. And it was something like, if your defense will only give up 21 points or less and your offense will score 24 points or more, and you properly manage the clock and you look at statistics, like always kick the field goal, don't go for it on more than 4th and 2 kind of things. Paterno manufactured wins where no other coach I know of could have won. We do have a caller.
Oh, here we go. Thanks, Producer John. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, is this Landon?
Yes, sir, it is.
Hey, Landon. This is James. I'm calling from New Jersey. Just wanted to see, kind of moving into next year, what do you think the team's ceiling is for next year? Obviously, we don't know who would be the head coach. But I think a lot of fans are I think even before the season, we were kind of questioning, where does this team go? Where does this program go from here? If we're going to be ranked, or if we're not going to be ranked, and kind of, what do you want them to be building towards?
Yeah, so I think you're looking at, you have a fairly easy, you don't have Indiana, you don't have Oregon, you don't have Ohio State next year, so that's automatically some wins. You have USC at home, you have at Michigan, you have at Washington. Those are your tough games, and you get to basically play. There's no Iowa sprinkled in. There's no it's all the bad Big Ten teams that we get to play. That's what we get to deal with. So there's an opportunity here to win some real games. And yeah, maybe you could go 10-2 and sneak into the playoffs. I don't know. I think something that we need to be realistic about is that this is going to be a true rebuild, in the sense of, I don't know if how many, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to leave, from a standpoint of, I think you got about 20 seniors. You have the guys that are naturally going to leave because their position coaches are going to be gone. And then I think the next piece of that too is you got players that are going to follow Franklin, especially if he goes to Virginia Tech. It's very close to home. And so I think you could see 10, 15 guys maybe, because that's what we've seen from other places, other coaches, like when Signetti went from JMU to Indiana, he brought, I think, 14 players it was. So I don't think that's unrealistic for James Franklin to take that many guys. Will Gamble, thank you for the donation. He said, any update on who you think the next coach will be? Oh, boy. I really think it's so wide open. Eli Drinkowitz, by the way, on Kalashi, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the only place I believe that you can bet in the United States on this right now of who's going to be Penn State's next head coach, has kind of run away. 33% chance that he is the next Penn State head coach. So that's interesting. I don't know. I still lean that I think it's going to end up being Brian Hartline. But I'm telling you guys, it really is wide open. Like, I don't think anybody actually knows. I think we will really start to pick up some steam the week of Rutgers, that last week. I think we're going to really start to get a good idea of who that is going to be leading into that one. And my guess would be that'll be named the Sunday after. So that'll be November 30th would be my guess is when we get our head coach. We got a caller.
Leading into that.
What is your name? Where are you calling from? Sorry, completely forgot about that.
Hey, Landon, it's Mike from State College.
What's up, Mike? How you doing, brother? What's your question?
I'm good. So you were just sort of talking about the head coaching search. I wanted your thoughts on the prospect of the search, sort of like everybody's throwing out names and hot boards and stuff. I wondered what your thoughts were on the fact that Pat Kraft sort of probably had some sort of like behind the scenes discussions and it's already sort of a done deal, but they just can't announce it till seasons are over and stuff. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on a lot of the speculation and stuff sort of being sort of moved with the potential coach already sort of having a sort of a backroom deal already done.
My weekends are very busy, but I make a lot of phone calls. I can confirm to you, at least as of Friday, that there is no shot that was real. Maybe something happened over the weekend, but no, I don't think there's any backroom deals. Where Pat Kraft is at right now is sit back, wait, see who loses, see who doesn't go to the playoffs. And I think that's an interesting conversation to have too. I'm having this week, we have producer Jesse coming on. I'm actually filming both of them tomorrow. Tyler Donahue video will be out tomorrow. But I think it's an interesting question to have of like, I think everybody has written it off like we cannot go after a college football playoff head coach. But like, what if one of them did just so happen to agree? What if a Mike Elko loses a couple games, loses to Texas, he's the 10 seed or something like that? I don't know. Would he agree with that? Would they agree to say, I'm going to continue to coach, but I'm going to sign with Penn State? Like, I don't think that's likely. But I don't know. Is that possible? The one thing that's interesting about Elko, I've written Elko off completely. But I've started to think about like A&M they're waiting to re-sign him. Like they're still not re-signing him, and he's making not that much money for what he's doing right now. Penn State could sign him to a huge deal, and I don't know. The thought is that A&M has so much money, they're not going to let him get away. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But no, I do not think that anything is a done deal at the moment. There's no back channels that things are already signed or anything like that. I highly doubt that. John, I wanted to pose this to you. People were talking about Paterno versus Franklin, that type of thing. I was talking about this with Big Keith Goon Conlon, friend of the show. We just did a live show. Every Monday, by the way, guys, I do a show with Goon at the golf course where we have someone on from 6 to 7, and then I race 6, 7. And then I race over here to go live like within 20 minutes. Shout out producer John, always having it ready. We were having a conversation about what it's like to be like a star athlete now versus back, say, like in the 90s when Goon was here, when Kerry Collins was quarterback. Like, can you, like, Kerry Collins and the crew, they probably went to the Skeller, got effed up, man. They were probably having a good old time. Like, nowadays, like Drew Allar, Nick Singleton, like, they can't go do that. I don't know, but then the trade-off is they make millions of dollars. I don't know. What are you taking the ability to have fun and do dumb things?
I feel like Ben Franklin, somebody like that, warned us about this as somebody who would sacrifice their freedom for safety deserves neither.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's got to be, and I mean a Penn State player like yourself is a celebrity in this town for sure. I can't even imagine what like Leonardo DiCaprio's life is like, but that's pretty much what it's like to be Drew Allar in State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. The microcosm of being famous here would be the same. Like,
yeah, I guess you're right. It's not fair. The $3 million, it feels a little fair again.
It does, right? When you like think about $3 million, it's like, okay, I don't feel bad. Anytime I'm like, oh, like you can't even go to Chipotle without like people taking videos of, well, because like it's just so different. Like at least back in the day, It's like, there's Kerry Collins. Like, there's like Bobby Ingram, downtown. That's so awesome. Hey, guys. And now it's like.
Well, even beyond that, unique to State College was Joe Paterno famously would walk and run all over town. And there was just an understanding that, like, you kind of left him alone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe you like offered him a water bottle or something. Like,
right. But now, like the natural instinct for us is like, oh my God, there he is. Like, here's my phone. I'm recording him. I want to get the video out on my Snapchat. I
think we still saw Paterno as a human being in those days. And I think especially the students don't really see Drew Allar as real.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, because everybody lives on social media now. It's so different. It's so different.
But then you go right back to $3 million.
I know. I don't feel bad anymore. Pence, thank you so much for the donation. Oh, that says Penn State 98. Sorry, once again, mistake not wearing my glasses on a day where I need to read the chat.
All right, yeah, you had 2 here. Hold on.
Absolutely. Here we go. Penn State 98 said, thank you so much for the donation. He said, would love your thoughts on Pat Fitzgerald being available and being a fit for Penn State. Yeah, he's available. He's someone you could bring in now. The way, and obviously he was exonerated and all that, I get that. I don't really have much of a problem with that. I just don't know if he pushes the needle for what you need right now. I get he had some success at Northwestern and was there for a long time. I don't know if that's the hire to make. If you get down to where you're missing on everybody and it's like Manny Diaz or Pat Fitzgerald, all right, maybe I'd lean Pat Fitzgerald. I don't really know. But I think if you are, you need to swing for the fences if you're Pat Kraft. And I don't think Pat Fitzgerald gets that done necessarily. But Pat Fitzgerald, he's a good man. Yeah, Julius Caesar said Pat Fitzgerald was at Joe's funeral. Joe's funeral was like just a mountain of celebrities in State College. That was crazy from my understanding. Tim Duncan, 21, said, did Kotelnicki give Singleton
Tin can?
Tin can. Oh, I thought it said tin. This is once again why I need glasses.
We need a backup pair for you.
Yeah, I need to leave some glasses.
That's my job. That's wardrobe. Sorry about that.
Sarah asked. I left them on my nightstand. She was like, "Do you want me to bring them?" I'm like, "No, it's okay." I should have said yes.
I honestly didn't realize it was that much of an issue for you.
Yeah, I'm blind, kind of. So it's interesting. Sorry. Can we get tin can
one more time? Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Sorry, dealing
Tim
with my
Duncan.
eyesight. I actually had great eyesight until I used to be in the meeting rooms. And you were just sitting in the back squinting at the screen all day long. Got horrible eyesight now. Did Kotelnicki give Singleton significantly more carries between the tackles for Indiana? I don't think, comparatively to, weeks 1, 2, and 3, I don't think it was that much more compared to those weeks. Since K-Tron has taken the load, yes. But I also think that Nick is just seeing it better. There was a couple times where, he was pressing the hole and making a one cut, making a decision and just going. There was so often this year that Nick Singleton was just so hesitant. And so it was refreshing to see him do that. I was so happy for him. I've wanted that so bad for Nick. I didn't want to be here pounding the table saying K-Tron Allen needs 20 carries and Nick needs 4. I didn't want to do that, but that was just the reality of what needed to happen. But this is the Nick Singleton we've been waiting to see. So I was thankful to see that. But yeah, I don't think it was necessarily more in between the tackle carries than he was getting in the early weeks. But he's just seeing it better. The confidence is there. Kerry was an alcoholic, so yeah, I'm sure we couldn't several established. Who wasn't an alcoholic back in the day? That's all anybody.
That's just how we got by in those days, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was at the Skeller knocking down ponies, and it was what it was. God, I love the Monday night chat is unlike anything else. It's different from the Saturday chats. I don't know.
It's a different crew. It's like the Skeller of the chats.
Ooh, that's a good way to put it. Farzad, thank you for the donation. He said, at the gym, if I hit my PR right now, PSU will go bowling. You heard it here first.
Ooh.
Farzad, let us know, what's your PR? I know he's working hard out there. Farzad, big time guy there.
That's still mathematically possible, right? It's 6 wins.
Yes, we need to win these last 3. We got to beat at Michigan State, at home against Nebraska, at Rutgers, which we cannot lose to Greg Schiano at Rutgers. Do not do that. I do question, and so this is actually interesting about going bowling. If you win 3 games, yes, Penn State has 6 wins. They are bowl eligible. Now, what's interesting about that is I've mentioned that most of the team probably would not want to go bowling, if you want me to be honest. But also there's the factor of they might not have an option. Because the Big Ten is, in agreement with these bowl games for their Big Ten slots at all these different bowl games. If there's not a 6-win team for Penn State to say, we don't want to go to the bowl, invite someone else, then they have to do it. So if there's not enough teams, if Penn State ends up, if the Big Ten ends up sending 4 teams to the playoffs and there's not someone to fill in for Penn State at the game above bowl in Detroit, Michigan, I'm just saying, that's like the worst one out there. If that doesn't exist, Penn State actually physically has to go. Now, what's an interesting caveat to this all is, let's say Penn State hires a coach on November 30th. Right now, no one can enter the portal on this Penn State roster until January 2nd. But once you hire a head coach, almost certain, I think it's 5 days. It's either like 5 or 7 days, but I'm pretty sure 5 days after you hire a new head coach, players can leave. Now, I think they did the 5-day window because they wanted to give that new head coach some time to talk to the players, maybe convince them to stay. But let's say we hire someone on November 30th. On December 4th, I think you got a hell of a lot of players that enter the transfer portal. So I'm not saying so many guys are going to leave that you might not be able to field a team, but I also might be saying that. I'm going to be honest. So that would be a really interesting thing that would happen if we do win these last 3 games. So we will see. Farzad, that was quick. He came back pretty quick. I just imagine him
blew out his knee.
Yeah, I don't know if it was bench or I don't know if it was squat, but I just imagine like Farzad with like the bar on his neck and he just like comes back, didn't get it done.
You can't use clips and you gotta drop it off the side, Farzad.
There you go. You already know. Farzad, thank you for the donation, brother. We'll have to get in the gym. You come to State College, we'll get you right. Farzad was a big time guy over down in Texas. Big time supporter of the show too. Supported, went on his show too. Farzad's a good guy. Love
Nice.
Farzad. Check out his channel if you guys get some time.
He said bench, by the way.
Oh, he did say bench?
I think so. Hold on.
I missed that. Once again, no vision here. Bench, cooked. Yeah, take the night off. Get some ice on those pecs, buddy. Good luck. Oh, boy. People are talking about the Cheez-It Bowl and the Pop-Tart Bowl. Guys, those are actually decent bowl games now outside of the college football playoffs. The Pop-Tart Bowl, I think it's normally like an 8-win team that goes to the Pop-Tart Bowl. We're talking 6 wins. I don't know what the worst I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like I said, like the game above bowl in Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field. Like those are the bad ones. We're going to one that no one's ever heard of. Maybe the Pinstripe Bowl. I saw a projection that we're going to go to the Pinstripe Bowl and play Pitt. Now that would be something. Speaking of that,
imagine having to go to a Northern Bowl game.
Oh my God, I've never had to do that. I can't imagine that. That would be horrific. Speaking of Pitt, Pat Narduzzi was asked today about playing Notre Dame and kind of what it meant, and he basically said because they're not in his conference, he was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Like I don't really care. Like even if we get beat by 100, like doesn't really affect us. I'm just worried about the last 2 ACC games." That's why Pat Narduzzi's a loser. Fun fact: I've never told this story. 2018. My high school, we would do trips. So we'd always come to the Penn State camp. Like all these colleges hold camps, right? So we'd always come to the Penn State camp. We came to the West Virginia camp, and we went to the Pitt camp in 2018. But, at this time, very highly recruited offensive lineman. And I'm at the Pitt camp, and I'm standing there, and someone comes up to me, obviously a part of the Pitt staff, and I'm talking to them. And I'm just thinking, like one of the assistants, and I didn't do much research. I didn't know much about Pitt because I didn't really care. Like I was a diehard Steelers fan. I didn't care about Pitt. I was never going to Pitt. And so we're talking for like 5 minutes, kind of, shooting the crap. Like it's a good time. And I'm like, whatever. And so then another like assistant comes over to me and they're like, like, how was it talking to coach? And I'm like, who? They're like, you were just talking to like Coach Narduzzi right there. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, because that guy had no aura of head coach at all. Like, I met a lot of head coaches. Like, I got to meet Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, obviously develop relationships with, Urban Meyer, James Franklin, everybody. Like, everybody had some aura. Pat Narduzzi had zero aura. There was nothing about him that said head coach. Everything about him said assistant to the assistant coach. I swear to God, like I was like, wait, really? That was Pat Narduzzi? Like, I knew the name, but I didn't know what he looked like. It was one of my favorite moments ever.
Did you ask him for like a Diet Coke or some peanuts or something, like an air stewardess?
Yeah, I'm like, he's like, you want anything? I'm like, yeah, I'll take like a water. I'll take a couple snacks from the nutrition bar. Like, that's what it felt like. So I had to put that out there. There's a couple coaches I don't like. I don't like Pat Narduzzi and I don't like Brian Kelly. Everybody else, I'm all in for, man. Everybody else, I've enjoyed getting to meet, but those two, yeah, they can go. Someone said Pat Nowora. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, guys. So, I don't know, where do we go from here? John?
Like spiritually?
Yeah. I mean, basically, I don't know, man. Like, God, guys, I'm sorry that this season happened the way that happened.
You've honestly made great. Imagine how much worse this season would have been, chat, without Landon here.
Oh, I appreciate that, John, man. We have some fun, guys. I do appreciate you guys supporting me. It's crazy to think this is really only year 2. We're having a lot of fun. Obviously, we're gonna ramp this thing up when the coaching search fully happens. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna have tons of transfer portal people to cover. I'm gonna be doing profiles, film breakdowns on every single one. So it's going to be even a fun offseason. We're gonna get back to being optimistic again, no matter what.
Yeah,
I just
we'll
feel like
find a way.
Yeah, we'll find a way. Like, no matter what, we're going to get back to being optimistic because we're going to be like, oh, like, every transfer portal player is like the greatest player ever. And like, as a fan of anybody, like, you just see their good tape and it's like, all right, I'm in on this guy. And whatever head coach comes, I feel like Pat Kraft's going to make a good decision. So,
hey, when we get a new coach, are you going to bring him into the show and interview him?
That's a good idea. I do. I want to interview most of the new coaches.
You're going to let him know who runs this town?
No, dude, we're gonna get that done. John, are you good? We're gonna have to bring the equipment. We'll go into Lash, and we're gonna do an interview in there. And I'm gonna pound the table for that one. We're definitely. I want to get one of the first interviews of this new head coach. So I don't know who it's gonna be. Hopefully, someone I actually know. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. So I've known a decent amount of them. All right, Noah. He says talk about the Michigan State snow game experience. Yes, that was something. 2021. It was my second week actually getting to really. I didn't start the game, but I played 2.5 quarters in that Michigan State game. I'd never played in snow before. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. We're right on the bay. If we get an inch of snow, then school's canceled for 3 days. So never played in a snow game, and it was 5 or 6 inches of snow. Pat Narduzzi in the chat. I'm a loser. It was crazy because I remember I went to the ground once and I put my hands down on the snow and they were just frozen over. My feet were frozen. So I remember going over to the heater and everybody's crowded around the heater when you get off the field and you're trying to defrost your hands and your feet. But the problem is it hurts because it's numb to the snow, but then you're putting it in front of massive heat.
Spoken like a true south of the Mason-Dixon line guy. What?
Exactly.
My hands get warmer when I play.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're a true PA guy here, Producer John. You're a true PA guy.
I actually can't. Playing football in the snow sounds terrible, man. The way, I remember you ever play baseball?
No, never played baseball.
Hitting a fastball when your hands are cold is one of the worst feelings ever.
Ooh,
Until your whole body gets hit with that feeling.
Never been there. No, never done that. I'm a big fan of rain games. Rain games are fun because you're sliding around. Snow, that was the only time I've ever played in snow. I hated it. So I don't know if there's snow on the forecast. I'm going to have to look. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one.
Rain probably works to your strengths, right?
Oh, yeah, as an offensive lineman, rain's fun. Rain's a good time as an offensive lineman. Snow, it's just you're miserable and all your limbs hurt. It's not good. Big Marcus, my man says, snow game has nothing on the rain delay game. Oh, God. Don't talk about the rain delay game in Michigan State. Was that the same game where Antonio Shelton spit in someone's face? Was that a different game? I really don't remember. I'm going to be honest. Oh, Isaac, thank you so much for the donation, my man. He says, I work in Lansing. Come win, Lions. P.S. Great show. Thank you so much, Isaac. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I hope we can get this win this weekend. We got to get some morale back on us here. Richard says, love the show, man. Really, your tape breakdowns. Thank you so much for donation. I missed that. Your tape breakdowns, refreshing to hear from a guy who knows the X's and O's. Thank you so much. We will continue to keep on keeping here at the Landon Tangwall Show. We will take this last caller right here, ladies and gentlemen. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Papa J from Red Lion.
Oh, let's go, Papa J. What's up, brother? What's your question?
Okay, I've been going to Penn State games since the 70s.
Ooh.
And my wife and I, prior to Indiana, were probably 90% sure we were done. We were going back. We've seen it all. And after the Indiana game, I looked at her and said, I think I got at least one more year in. And I started feeling better over this whole thing. So I'm going to give you a line, and then I'll ask a question. After that game, I've been telling people that was the most exciting, fun loss I've ever seen. So can you come up with a sentence that describes how you felt about that game?
A sentence to how, okay. I appreciate you putting it in a very positive manner. That was a very optimistic view of the outcome of Penn State and Indiana. I would go with heartbroken. I know you said sentence. Where do I want to go with this? I don't know. I don't know if I have a sentence. I was so hurt. That was the first time, guys, since fourth quarter of Oregon, well, I guess overtime of Oregon, where I felt like real excitement in my body about Penn State football, and I was just broken. And when Zane Durant got that sack, and it was 2nd and 18.
Yeah.
I really, like, John, we were in here, like, I thought I was like, we won.
Well, something also getting overlooked, that game-winning catch was like physics-defying.
Right. It was crazy. I mean, there was 2 catches that drive that were just ridiculous. I don't know. Chris Buchanani's in the chat. He said, great final call. Completely captured how I felt being there and what I've heard from other fans since. Terry said it best. Penn State is still Penn State. Amen, brother. That is the truth. I guess that's what I'll finish off with. Go State. That's how I feel leaving that game, that we still have fight, that we still are Penn State, that we're still going to continue the fight. Doesn't matter who's running this program, who's coming after Terry Smith, what players are going to be wearing the blue and white next. We are still going to be Penn State. We're still going to continue to support this program. And listen, let me tell you this. Better times are ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you that. We are going to be just fine. Farzad, thank you for the donation. He said the only way to get to the other side is through the darkness. We got this. Amen. Look at us rallying up in the chat. Optimistic. What a great call from my man Papa J to finish this thing off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go in there. Let's give Michigan State hell. Let's go win this thing. Let's win these last 3 games. And maybe let's go bowling. I don't know. But we're just going to be fine. That is the end of the story. Go State. Appreciate you guys joining us. We will be tomorrow, Tyler Donahue coming in for a really good video. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be great. But I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Thank you so much for all the support, guys. Truly means a lot. You guys are the best fans in all the world. I love that I get to wake up every morning and do what I do, talk to you guys. That was the number one thing that I missed when I was, injured and was away from football for about a year. And getting to do this has been the most amazing part of everything I've gotten. That's why I like to do the call-in shows. I love talking to you guys. You guys are the best fans in all the world. Truly appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.